the economy is in absolutely uncharted territory. I mean, uncharted would probably be the understatement of the century. This is absolutely beyond comprehension, really, what we're in, right?
Yeah, to give some people some numbers, and I should have given you this data in a chart. I completely forgot. I was looking at I believe it's Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan, what their predictions are for this quarter GDP,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's negative.
Negative 5%, right?
Try negative 24%.
Oh, wow. Jeez, that's
It's the
incredible. That
worst.
the one I saw was 5%. That was
Uh,
earlier
it,
this week. It keeps changing. Everything's
yeah,
changing so fast.
if that pans out to where it is that number, they said that would be the worst number in American history, including the Civil War.
Wow. So we go back to 1865, and this is going to top that. It's amazing that literally a week ago, Mnuchin was saying that we may not enter a recession. I mean, are you kidding me? You cannot close down the global economy and expect not to be in a recession. That's insanity.
Yeah.
So we're
The
obviously
question really
yeah.
isn't whether we go into a
How
recession,
deep will
it's
it
do
be?
we
How
go
long
into
will it
a
last?
recession or depression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah.
And if we go into a depression or recession, is that a deflationary depression? Is it an inflationary
Hmm.
depression, which most people really don't think about too much? But I don't want to. I know we're going to get to that in the
We're going to get
video,
into
so
it. Yeah.
give it
And
away.
and let's not give you a spoiler, but remember, inflation, deflation, stagnation are the three basic economic
Stagflation.
maladies, and
It's
we're gonna. I think George and I agree with which one is coming, and we're gonna talk about how you can profit from it too, or at least insulate yourself from it. Remember something. Economics is a relative game, okay? And I kind of hate to say this because it sounds nice to say, well, the pie's big enough for everyone, all this kind of stuff. And capitalism does definitely expand the pie. It grows the pie. But just remember, it is relative. So if the whole world gets a lot poorer, okay, and you maintain, if you tread water, relatively speaking, you're rich because all of the prices, hopefully, and we'll talk about that soon, adjust and the marketplace adjusts to the fact that most of the market can't afford to buy. This varies whether it be assets or consumer products. We're going to get into that, but just remember, you don't have to necessarily keep growing. You could tread water and keep your net worth the same in real dollars. We're talking about not nominal dollars, or whatever your currency is, or you could even shrink. As long as you don't shrink as much as everybody else, you're still ahead. George,
yeah.
thoughts on that?
Well, you don't have to outrun the bear. You
Right.
just have to outrun the guy you're with.
Exactly. That's the old story about the two people hiking, right? Yeah,
Right.
you just gotta outrun the other guy, so the bear gets him.
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
so
right now you've
speaking,
seen
yeah,
asset prices just get crushed.
yeah,
You've just seen gold get crushed, silver get crushed, Bitcoin, housing. Well, housing, and I think let me actually write that down, Jason, because I've been getting a lot of questions on that.
hmm
And people need to understand that generally, and who knows what's going to happen,
yeah,
but housing turns a lot slower than the stock market. It's not
right,
like you wake up one morning and housing prices are down 50%.
right.
It doesn't happen like that. You don't have a Black Monday in housing.
Except in the high end market, because I told you about that
Right.
big price reduction I just saw. Yeah, and I'm
So
and I'm seeing others. I mean, just everything is a price reduction in the high end. So we'll
yes,
we'll talk
let's
about
make
that.
sure we discuss that
Yeah.
because I think it's very important to understand how the real estate and the different components and the different categories of real estate change. And even going back to the great financial crisis when it was all about housing
Hmm.
and how I remember even in the low end where I was dealing in those linear markets, it didn't bottom out until 2012, the summer of 2012.
Right.
So you had 3 years before it actually bottomed because the sellers are still trying, they still have that mindset where they did the comps a month ago
Right.
and they feel as though their house is worth X when the sellers think it's worth 50% of X.
The buyers, you meant to say.
Or
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the
right,
buyers,
right.
right? And
What
so there's a big delta, and a lot of times. But my point is that all asset prices go down, so or could potentially go down. So it's about what asset price or what assets go down less
hmm
than everything else, and if they do, then that increases your purchasing power with the assets that you're holding relative to those other assets that may be just collapsing, like the stock market.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I always say in real estate, the sellers are always looking in the rear view mirror when prices are dropping. They're looking back and they're saying 6 months ago my neighbor sold their house and mine's better. Theirs is always better no matter what, right? That's their thinking. And then the buyers are always looking forward and saying, well, things are going to
Yeah.
get worse, so I don't want to pay this much.